Today's episode of The Walk Show is brought to you in part by Jam Spots. Established in 1989, that's over 30 years, Jam Spots has provided safe and accessible spaces for musicians to create and collaborate. They have hourly, weekly, and monthly rentals to suit your needs. And here's the thing, these rooms rent out at artist-friendly rates. Cause let's face it, we can't all be John Bon Jovi. The best part about Jam Spots is its rich history in the Guelph music scene. It truly is a big part of the local scene and even has a music community within itself. And I should know, almost every band I've ever been a part of has had a room with Jam Spots. That's a ton of rehearsals, photo shoots, and even a music video we shot there with Arise and Ruin. If you're looking for a space within our music community, check out jamspots.com. That's JAMSPOTS.com. Jam Spots. Make some noise! Everybody, welcome to The Walk Show, podcasting on all the major platforms. Thank you for listening. You can also support the show on Facebook and Instagram. Happy Canada Day to my fellow Canadians. Happy Independence Day to my American friends. And I know some of you didn't celebrate, and I totally get it. Either way, much love and respect to all of you, and I hope you're all doing well. I played an awesome party in Puss Lynch on Canada Day with the Strother Martins. Shout out to Adam Shaw, Andy Robillard, and Chad Moray. Love ripping with those guys. I have a number of gigs coming up and even a short Northern Ontario tour happening in August, filling in on drums from Milky Whites and the Bluesmen. And I'm having a great time getting back into the session drummer thing. If you need a drummer live or in the studio, feel free to hit me up at thewalkshow@gmail.com. In other news, The Walk Show now has a YouTube channel. And it's just basically a slideshow of podcast-related pics and artwork over the audio of episodes right now. But I thought I might as well add another way to consume the show, and who knows, maybe I'll do more with it down the road. If you prefer YouTube to whatever you're listening to this episode on right now, or even if you just want to help a brother out, please subscribe. I reached out to you on Facebook and Instagram to ask you who your top 3 Canadian bands or artists are, and here's what you had to say.
Now it's time to check that mail. I'm gonna check that mail good. Yeah, check that mail.
From Ryan Bachman, hey brother. Ryan says, Neil Young, Classified, Alexis on Fire. From Jeremy Dodge, long time no see, dude. Jeremy says, Protest the Hero, Counterparts, Dan Manigan. From Cody McDusa, hey buddy. Cody says, New Swears, Leonard Cohen, and The Midwife Crisis. From Adam Ooey, hey, what's up, homie? Adam says, Ken Mode, The Great Sabatini, and probably also Protest the Hero, if I'm being honest. From the great Todd Ashley, hey dude. Todd says, Razor, Annihilator, Rush. Wow, Razor. Original Guelph metal band from the original Guelph metal DJ. Hope you're keeping well, Todd. From Ben Garbutt, what's up, bro? Ben says, Billy Talent, Cancer Bats, and Devon Townsend. Definitely cool to get an answer from a non-Canadian perspective, Ben. Hope you're doing well across the pond. From David Gupta, hey dudeski. David says, Cryptopsy, Blasphemy, Rush. From Tyler Klompenhauer, hey buddy. Tyler says, The Gorgeous, A Textbook Tragedy, and M-Code. Wow. Yeah, good picks. From Scott Tucker, what's up, dude? Scott says, Headstones, Tea Party, Gordon Lightfoot. Wow, some killer answers today, everybody. Job well done. I could think about this question for hours, but off the top of my head, I'd probably have to go with The Tragically Hip, Winter Sleep, and You the Band / Sinister Trailer Park Magic. And to cheat, I'd probably throw honorable mentions out to Rusty, Change of Heart, and Tugnut. As always, thank you so much for your participation. If you aren't writing in and you want to get in on the action, when you see an episode question pop up on Facebook and Instagram, leave your answer in the comments section or send your answers to thewalkshow@gmail.com. On that note, let's do today's Double Feature Preacher.
The Double Feature Preacher is brought to you by Cabin Coffee.
Woo, that is a tasty f***ing brew.
And by The Walk Show.
Today's music feature is Halfway by Barrett Cressman. Barrett is from right here in Guelph, and Halfway is a very cool track layered with accordion, guitars, bass, percussion, and catchy vocals delivering interesting lyrics. And there could be even more going on there, but that's what I hear anyway. Big thanks to Barrett for reaching out and sending me this track. The Double Feature Preacher has featured artists from around the world since I started it in 2020, but it always warms my heart to plug an artist from the Royal City. You can support Barrett Cressman by checking out soundcloud.com/EMCEE-beautiful-B. That's soundcloud.com/MC-beautiful-B. And be sure to give them a follow on the socials. Today's Cabin Coffee feature is their San Jose Natural. This is a light roast all the way from El Salvador. The San Jose Natural has notes of blueberry, pomegranate, sage, and rum. And I definitely noticed the blueberry. It's delicious. If you're in the Guelph area today, you should pop in and grab one of their top-notch beverages. Cabin Coffee is located at 1467 Gordon Street in Guelph. Check out what they're up to at www.cabin.coffee. Give them a follow on the socials, and if you want to help out the Walk Show, please let them know that I sent ya.
Stick around to the end of the podcast to hear the full song from today's Double Feature Preacher artist.
For this episode, I had a conversation with Devon King of the electronic music project MacAlister Park. Devon lives out west now, but he happened to be in Guelph, so he dropped by the home studio. We had a great chat, and I hope you dig it. So let's get into it. Kaboom!
Yes.
Here today with Devon King of MacAlister Park. Sir.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, my heavens. I'm so happy to be here, brother.
Fuck yeah, man. And it's been a while, dude. It's, first off, it's nice having people in the studio. Secondly, it's nice having people in the studio that I have not seen in a long time.
You know, the Jam Space days, shout out to Robert Leader. Great times there. Great times in the Jam Space room making music, baby.
Hell yeah, dude. And yeah, shout out to Robert Leader indeed. Yeah, how you been, man?
Well, been pretty good, man. Been pretty good. Just moved out to Vancouver. Loving it out there. They don't call it beautiful British Columbia for no reason. And I just released Ultraviolet, my first EP ever on the summer solstice that just passed. So kind of riding that high right now.
Dude, that's awesome. And it's funny, you know, in my travels out to BC, you always run into Ontarians that were just like, yeah, I had to get the fuck out.
Oh.
Just calling it Ontarable and, you know, all
nonstop. Every person I meet out there is a transplant. They're from Ontario, somewhere in southern Ontario. And yeah, just all the time. Feels like a small world. It gets smaller and smaller.
Yeah, dude. And I just find like the rest of Canada, like, so Southern Ontario, growing up here, you kind of think, okay, this is Canada. No. When you travel Canada, this is not Canada. This is like fucking US light. The rest of Canada is Canada.
Man, yeah, there's so much to explore. It's always exciting getting into a new area, the new energy, just exploring and just being surprised at, what this country has to offer.
It really is incredible, man. So you're out there now. And I was wondering that because when we were setting this up, you were saying you were going out west. So I was thinking, okay, so does he live there? Is he just visiting? What's the deal?
Yeah, a fresh move. I've been wanting to go out west my entire life. I've been saying it my entire life. Once I actually go out to the West Coast, that I won't be returning home. But here I am returning home for a visit. It feels like I'm on tour, coming back to hit up the walk show, baby.
Sweet, dude. Press tour, man.
Woo!
Well, shit, man. Again, it's a pleasure to have you, sir. Have you traveled around Canada much?
I've been to the interior of BC. I did some ski patrolling out there when I was younger, but I have been to Winnipeg, but I haven't been out east. I've been to Quebec. I went on a school trip when I was younger, but the East Coast, I've heard many a good thing.
Yeah.
Many a good thing.
Dude, East Coast rules.
Yeah.
It's basically just like, I mean, I haven't been out there in a long time, but even when I was going out there, it was like you had just stepped into a time machine and went back like 10 years. In a good way.
Yeah.
I don't want to throw shade at the East Coast.
Man,
dude, but
that vibe that I've been hearing about, I can't wait to explore it myself. I feel like I'm definitely going to have an era of my life out in the East, and I'm excited for it.
Dude, yeah, you get book a tour.
Yeah.
You got the press tour
It's
now.
coming. It's going to be here whether I like it or not. It's going to be here sooner than later.
That's awesome, man. So what brought you out west, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, it's been a long time coming. I've been saying, once I see the West Coast, once I see the mountains, once I see that, dip my feet in the ocean, I've just been called out there since I was into snowboarding. When I was a kid, I was like, identified with being a snowboarder, and I knew that was where the best slopes were. And then when I did get a little taste of it, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to be moving out here. But I had a lot of unfinished business here in Ontario. I had to live a lot of life, learn a lot of lessons, do a lot of fucking up and get myself in the right headspace to not get sucked into what so many people get sucked into out west, getting too involved in the party scene or, bad habits really kind of rearing their ugly head. So I kind of had to take care of business before I went. So I'm stoked to be out there now. It's been freaking great.
That's awesome, man. And yeah, I know what you mean about like the party atmosphere. I mean, it's everywhere, but I mean out west, especially someplace like, I don't know, like Banff or something like that. It's just like people just go out there and they work at the resorts, but they're just working to fund their party basically.
Yeah, they do work to live and not live to work. I hear it's more in Ontario, everyone's kind of really identifies with their job and are living to work, and out there it's like you're just doing what you can so that you could feed your your outdoor adventure, music, whatever, or partying, that's what's it's so easy. It feels like you're on permanent vacation there. It's just, it doesn't feel like it's such a completely different feeling than it is here at home.
Yeah, it seems a lot more laid back in a lot of it anyway. I know like Vancouver's obviously like a pretty big, urban center, but even Vancouver to me, and maybe just because I visited there, I don't know, but like it seemed more laid back than say Toronto.
Oh yeah. It's, people compare the two, but there is no comparison. They're completely different cities. The only thing that is alike about them is that they're cities, but they're not alike really at all. They're completely, you go to Toronto for a different reason than why you would go out to Vancouver. It's and I still haven't explored, like I've only been out there for 5 weeks, so I've just been in East Van and I've been exploring that a lot. I found a place finally there, and I still have so much exploring to do. You know, I've barely scratched the surface of Stanley Park. Stanley Park is this park, if no one knows, on like this little jut out geography like spot that's pretty much the size of the downtown core. It's actually bigger. It's friggin' huge, man. And they have a seawall that goes all the way around it. It's friggin' beautiful, and I can't wait to go back again. There's always something going down on the beaches. People blaring music, everyone getting rowdy. There's a naked beach there. They call it Wrecked Beach. I haven't been yet. I'm really excited to check that out too.
Yeah.
So much to do, man. So little time.
So much to do and so little time and, so little clothing and yeah, dude. No, that's so awesome, man. So you weren't out there over the pandemic. You're just a new BCite.
Nice. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, BCite.
British Columbia,
we'll roll with that. We'll roll with that. But yeah, I was here in Guelph first lockdown. Like I was here for early 2020. I was here for that. That's another strange thing out there. No one talks about COVID. It's like it's nice to be out there and for no one to be talking about it. It's like it didn't exist, because back home I feel like we're a little bit more wrapped up in it, but everything feels back to normal to me now. I don't feel like things are really that different. Now that there's no masks, I feel pretty much back to normal.
That's
which is
cool.
Strange because I think a lot of people are kind of still stuck. A lot of people are trying to deal with how they feel about it and some shit that happened to them during that period that everyone's kind of trying to shake it off. But I feel like I'm on the other side now, especially since the EP release. It's just I feel a great sense of relief.
Well, it's a new chapter for you. I mean, literally, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. It's funny you mention that with the West Coast because I definitely have some friends out there that said the same thing. Like with the COVID thing, obviously they were affected by it, but I feel like maybe they took less of it home with them, kind of thing. They weren't freaking the fuck out all the time like we were around here. And again, I'm not throwing shade one way or the other. To be honest, I still wear masks in the stores, but more as a gesture. Man, than anything.
It feels like you're doing the right thing. I don't mean to sound like a government ad, but I remember when I was wearing my mask for the first time in stores, and I felt better that I wasn't pissing anyone off.
Yeah,
I felt like, okay, I'm good. I can walk by this person going the opposite way, the arrows pointing in the aisles. Those annoyed the hell out of me. No one spoke about those. No one has spoke about those. I haven't heard stand up or anything about it, but those arrows annoyed the shit out of me. And I'd always feel like no one ever did call me out going the opposite way that the arrow was pointing. But I did feel better when I had my mask on for when I did cross someone in going the wrong way. That I was like, okay, at least I'm fucking up and I got a mask on.
It's funny you mentioned the stand-up thing. Like, I didn't see much of it either, but I did make a post because I was at the LCBO. And I think I made some post to the effect of, like, going down all these one-way roads so that I can get booze at 1 a.m. so I can get fucked up in the afternoon. Sorry, 1 p.m. I'm butchering this. But the punchline was like, I'm basically in Hamilton.
Yeah, Hamilton. Have you explored Hamilton much?
Yeah, it's all one-way roads and people are fucked up at 1 p.m.
Oh my God, yeah. Imagine trying to get your G license on those roads. My God, it would be torturous.
Crazy, yeah. The one thing I will say about Hamilton, though, is on the main arteries, like if you're going the speed limit, you can pretty much catch greens all the way. Oh. If you time it right.
Yeah, it all comes down to the timing.
Yeah.
They got a sweet art scene there. I never got to tap into it, but they have like art crawls there. Have you heard about the art crawl? It's like they just, I don't know. It's pretty much self-explanatory.
So like a pub crawl.
Yeah, but with art shops and galleries, I guess. But cool. I was like, that sounds cool.
Yeah. Are they getting fucked up while they're doing it?
I imagine that's part of the Hamilton vibe.
Hey, any Hamiltonians out there, just so you know, I was born there. But if you want to send your hate mail regardless, send it to thewalkshow@gmail.com.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I did have all these questions here, but we're just kind of ad-libbing, which is the way I like to do it. I definitely have questions that we want to get into.
That's the way, I like it.
Exactly. Bro.
Kaboom.
The word of the day is kaboom.
Boom.
So are you jamming with a band out west, or are you just doing the solo thing?
I'm just doing the solo thing. I was playing with other musicians at the jam space, just friends of mine. I miss it. I was working with a couple mixing engineers. Shout out to Al P and Dave Powers. But actually producing and like jamming, I've just been doing my own thing, but I do miss it dearly, and I am very excited for the next time that I get to make music with another person or other people, because that's what really gets my rocks off, is when you have that magic moment and there's someone else there to share it with, where you don't even need to say anything because you're mid jam and you just both look at each other, acknowledge that the super sick sweetness that just happened, and then dive back in. That's the spice of life right there.
Oh, there's definitely something to be said for chemistry, which is something you can't buy, and as cliche as it sounds, it's true, right? Like, chemistry is everything, right? It's, sometimes it's the only thing. Like, I play with this cover band, we do not rehearse. And I mean, last weekend we went out and played for like 6 fucking hours, and it's all chemistry. It's just like visual cues and, smiles and frowns and like, D-Walk, what the fuck are you doing? And all that kind of shit.
It's the best. It's the best. I do have those moments by myself, where you just finish, like, I'll record for 20 to 40 minutes, just a long jam with my synths and drum machine. And, at the end of it, we'll just like clap and yell and get goosebumps and be like, yes, that's great. I love it. That's, why I do it. And, but there is something to be said when someone else just surprises you and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Love it.
Or conversely, when somebody fucks up and the whole band looks at that person and it's all good, like nobody's really busting balls, but you're kind of busting balls.
Oh man, that's the camaraderie. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely, dude. I do have to ask you, so going back to jam spots, was that your giant fucking stuffed banana in the room? What's that?
Man, so that banana was in the old room. So the predecessors to us in the room left that. Why, I'm not sure, but we adopted the banana, and the banana made its way over to the end of the hallway with us. And yeah, I'm sure people banged their heads off. It was like, this fucking thing, why is it here? But it brought me joy, so that's why we kept it along.
Dude, it was hilarious. I mean, so it must have belonged to Mandroid, because they were in there before you were.
In the room we were in?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I was so stoked when Robert was like rifling off all these bands that were in there even before my time of knowing any bands in Guelph, and then hearing all the bands in Mandroid, and I was like, Mandroid's here? Oh shit. Nice. And then end up jamming in their space, man. There's a lot of creative energy in that space.
Absolutely, man. Well, it's funny because they were there, but you took their spot. Oh, yeah. No, shout out to Mandroid. I love those dudes.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Still talk to a few of them on the regular, and they're beautiful people.
Man, I was working with Nick Weaver. Shout out to Nick. Shout out to Belay. Nick hired me at Van Gogh's Ear. I wanted to be a bartender, but he ended up having me as a bouncer. He's like, sorry, man, everyone that's bigger than me, I just put them at the door. And I ended up bouncing. I was wearing a Mandroid shirt, and I didn't know, but upstairs, Mandroid was playing that night, and I was like, oh, am I like super uncool for wearing an Mandroid shirt? But Cheech came up to me, he's like, nice shirt, man. I'm like, thanks. Great set, man.
Dude, I don't care who you are, man. Every fucking musician loves seeing somebody else rocking their merch, man.
Oh, I would, man. Oh my God, it would make my day.
Yeah. And, again, to the listeners, get your Walk Show merch at walkshow@gmail.com.
Get the Walk Show merch. I'm gonna be picking some up too.
Yeah, sick.
Represent.
Kaboom!
I love it. That's some Nardwar shit right there.
Yeah, that's totally my do.
Yeah, I like it, man. That and how you do a cheers, kaboom, man.
Yeah.
It feels good.
Yeah. Well, I'm just pulling shit out of my ass and thought vomiting into a microphone, and here we are.
Ooh, thought vomiting. That'd be like a pretty cool idea for a song.
Yeah, it's funny. I had to ask you about that banana because it's still in the lobby.
Sweet.
Like, it's not in our room anymore, but it sits in the lobby, and every time I pass it, I laugh, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this thing doing here?
We'll never know whose banana it belongs to. It's the people's banana.
The people's banana, dude. I mean, I have to chase down some of the Mandroid dudes and see if they brought it here, but I bet you they didn't. I bet you it's just been in that building for like a fucking decade.
Probably. It's been passed down, I'm sure. The guy, there was a guy who was a drummer, Robert was saying, in the other room we were in, and so maybe it was his, but I'd like to think it's been passed down for perhaps centuries.
Yeah, centuries. That banana's been there longer than anybody.
Time traveling banana.
So let's talk about your album, man.
Ooh, tickle my fancy.
I guess that's sort of why we're here.
I guess music has brought us together, my friend, yet again.
That's right, dude. So it's the solo project. It's done and it's out.
Yes, it's released. Everyone can go and listen to it. Ultraviolet, it's streaming pretty much everywhere. All the main ones anyways.
That's awesome, man. And it is the solo project. When did you decide to go solo? Was it because you moved out west? Is that
I picked up my first synthesizer in 2015, and I've been working towards releasing my first body of work since then. And the first track, Hideout Place, which we're going to be playing a little bit later, I made last year around wintertime. And then the other two were made more recently. And I made those other two recent songs to accompany Hideout Place because I wanted it to have, because it's the single on the record, and I didn't want to just release it as a single. I want it to be accompanied with other music and be a part of my first little body of work, the little teaser to eventually my first full-length album.
Sweet.
Yes.
So was that the next step then?
So it was out of not necessity. It was just that no one else. I was trying to make music with people. There's a guy I went to audio engineering school with in Toronto. Shout out to Xavier. And we were making some music and we made some bomb ass shit. But unfortunately, our personalities collided and we kind of, our friendship kind of got fucked up. And we stopped making music, but we were really kind of tapping in there for a bit. It's just the typical story of artists getting together and then just having a divide, like a fallout. It's unfortunate that happens because there are, you just think of what could have been, because he fit all had the expertise in the areas that I did not have. And then I brought something else to the table and it was like the perfect combination, but we just didn't jive, But so yeah, I guess out of necessity, I just started making music myself, and just out of curiosity, just starting to kind of tap into synthesis and going to school, and then buying my first synth and just playing around, and then just naturally I started recording. I hit record every time I sit down, and eventually some songs started appearing. And then I moved back to Guelph and then started jamming with friends. So I'm just still on this musical journey of kind of being open to whatever comes my way.
That's cool, man. So you're kind of used to being, the lone wolf, right? Like you'll work with people, but you have the experience of working alone.
Yes. And you learn a lot when either way, by yourself or with other people. But that's kind of echoes into, my life. I have always kind of been a lone wolf. I find it kind of hard to kind of fit in to places. I feel like I don't really fit in, and I kind of just have to attract people to me. And then, I have a very small circle, and it's been getting smaller since COVID. And it's kind of my natural habitat, but I do love being around people, being creative, making music. That's it right there.
See, I think that's awesome, man. And doing the solo thing, I don't know, in a weird way, it almost kind of makes you better at being a member because you've done everything yourself, right? Like you had to put out that project. And that's the other part of it is, anybody can write, but to actually pull the trigger and finish it and release it is a lot harder than I think a lot of people give credit to.
Dude, abso-friggin-lutely. Actually letting go of a precious little baby and, exposing yourself, being vulnerable in a way and letting go of this. Cause we can just tinker around forever and be EQing and doing all these minor little things. And you're like, am I even making it better? Am I making it worse? And to eventually just be like, okay, picking a release day. Shout out to my friend Vanessa. I'm getting a lot of shout outs today.
Nice.
She helped me with the release date because I couldn't decide. I wanted to be a meaningful day and I just couldn't make my decision because once I made it, that's when it was going to happen. So then I had to, get in touch with the mixing engineers and start, everything had to start getting brought together. And she helped me with realizing the album title, Ultraviolet, and releasing it on the summer solstice. And I was like, that is perfect. That is perfect. So shout out to Vanessa.
Sweet. No, that's awesome. It's cool when you can have that kind of meaning too. And again, like when you're solo, yeah, you can bounce ideas off the Vanessas of the world. But ultimately it's, it's your project. And I think there's something awesome about that. I don't know. I mean, I'm a part of a lot of different projects, but I do have a solo project on the go. And I think, I don't know. I really like that I have that to kind of come back to, you know what I mean? It's, I don't know. There's just something very cool about doing everything yourself.
Absolutely. Because you learn, it makes you more valuable. And also it's just like, you can't not, we can't not make music. If I'm not making music, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're just used to playing with other people, then you're having other people kind of fill in the voids and fill in the spots that you're lacking in. But when you do your own project, if you're not rhythmic or you're not into drums or whatever, you don't really know how it works, it forces you to get outside of your comfort zone of what you're normally used to and starting to learn more of what makes music and every little nuance and detail that it makes you a more whole artist, if you will.
Oh, absolutely. Like, dude, I had to front a band to learn when to shut the fuck up as a drummer. Because, I mean, yeah, in the PB and Arise and Ruin days, like, I would just want to fill through everything and play as busy as I possibly could. And, like, the producers we worked with, they were kind of a bad influence, too, because they were like, yeah, go for it, dude. Fuck yeah. No, it wasn't until I started doing other projects where they were like, yeah, you might want to just get out of the way of that vocal, dude. Yeah.
Those are delicate conversations when you're dealing with artists and egos, like especially when you're in the studio and you're recording and, there's people there, people are getting paid, this time is ticking and someone is sucking and to delicately put it to someone like, okay, let's try something else, or that's another thing that I love about the whole studio music situation is the relationships and the dialogues and this. You have to have some professionalism, but you also have to be cool and chill. And it's interesting seeing, egos collide and it's very subtle, but you're witnessing it and you're like, oh shit. Like, did he just tell him that he's got to,
yeah,
he's off pitch. Like,
yeah, but it's so necessary. Right?
It has to happen. You have to have those conversations. It makes you a better person too, because you brave that fear and you care about the project so much that you have to be honest with one another.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's, I think, the beauty of working with a producer that maybe has a reputation of being not an asshole, but just like a straight shooter. Because you come in knowing that's going to happen. And so when you do that take and it's not perfect and they just stop you dead and go, do it again, you just do it again.
Yeah. You just got to balls up and freaking get at it. Do what you do, perform.
Yeah, dude, I really have no patience for the whole like emotional experience in the studio. It's like, dude, we're just trying to make the best project we can possibly put out. Leave your fucking ego at the door. Nobody gives a shit. We're on the same team. Let's just go to work.
Yes, absolutely.
I never understood that, how dare you pearl clutching mentality.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's cool to see, but also it could be detrimental to the project.
Yeah,
because when you just, I don't know, it's just interesting when you see egos collide. Like Al's a part of Mastercraft. So I got a shout out to Mastercraft and Jesse for introducing me to Al. I have been a fan of Mastercraft since I found out about them. Since their first album came out, The Looks, in 2006, I've been a fan. I completely identified with their music, still do. I just actually got Easy Love tattooed to my ankles. It's one of their songs on the first record. And over time, I guess I just eventually manifested getting to hang out or to reach out to Jesse, and then eventually he introduced me to Al, and I ended up working at the studio in Toronto for like a year and a half helping out Al, and now dare I say he is a friend of mine, which is so wild to say. And what did we get on to Mastercraft for? Oh,
we're just talking about egos,
man. Oh man, I love full circle conversations. You go off on a little tangent and you bring it all the way back. Love that. We were in the studio, and Joseph of Mercury, shout out to Joseph. He was in there, and he had said, "Yeah, I want to do it I want to do it right the first time. I don't want to have to come back and do it." And just seeing Al just be like kind of turn up the music a little bit, and just seeing like this little sizzles going across. I was like still wet behind the ears at the time, and I was like, "Oh shit! Did he just like tell Al that?" But that's how it goes. You gotta tell him how it is. Like, let's do it right the first time, baby.
Yeah, man. Sometimes that's what it takes too. And even if you don't get it right the first take, just having that mentality might put you more on your A game than your C game.
Yeah, not hesitating. Yeah, just going for it.
I feel like a lot of it with good producers, they're psychologists as well, right? Like they need to diffuse, bombs and fucking get the most out of people. And
man, yes, that's my favorite. That's what I was trying to get at with the egos. Is that exactly how you can relate to other people, approaching people in a way that is not going to, so you can have a little bit of damage control, because you're gonna tell them some information they don't want to hear, and telling someone in a way that doesn't hit them off so they can't perform. So that is a skill within its own that I really appreciate, and I saw Al doing when they were doing a live off the floor recording, and seeing his individual approach to each of the musicians. I was just sponging in everything, just being like, holy shit, I didn't know he had this in him. He like, I've been working with him for over a year, and then seeing him in his element, it was really cool to see.
That's sweet, man.
Yeah.
And I know, like, with metal music, particularly with vocalists, sometimes producers will go the other way, and they'll try to get them pissed off and angry and emotive, right?
Wow.
Speaking of out west, I mean, Devon Townsend did, well, I think a couple of Misery Signals albums, but the first one, apparently he had the singer, like, crying and hiding from him because, like, he got under his skin, so he delivered that fucking ferocious performance. Yeah.
Holy shit, man. That's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I mean, I know Ross Robinson produced, like, most notably Korn back in the day was big for that too. He would, get Jonathan Davis like really angry and upset, and then hit record and go.
Wow, I'm getting goosebumps, man. That's freaking sweet. Kaboom.
Right on. Yeah, what I probably should do at this point is take the quick commercial break, show some love to the sponsors, but we will be right back right after this. Today's episode of The Walk Show is brought to you in part by musicvids.ca, owned and operated by friend of the show and one of the most talented dudes I know, Mr. Matt Connell. Matt has been providing audiovisual services to artists and musicians for years. He's shot music videos for a ton of artists, including Danielle Todd, Enter the Haggis, Patrick Bellantine, and his brilliantly talented wife, Amber McLean. If you're an Amber fan like I am, you might notice her track Run Rabbit in the background. This track is from her album Me, which was recorded and co-produced by, you guessed it, Matt Connell. Check out musicvids.ca to see what they're all about, and be sure to give them a follow on the socials. Oh, and let them know The Walk Show sent you to receive a 15% discount.
Should I make about you needing space? More look like you are hiding face in that hole.
And we're back. And on the break, we were kind of just riffing about, sometimes you can do projects and you can fall in and out of love with them and then back in love with them, but it's important to do it through the bad times, and it's especially important to do it through the bad times. I just thought that was kind of a neat topic to riff on.
I just totally lost my train of thought. Speaking of lightning in a bottle, making music, sitting down and being disciplined to show up when you don't feel like doing it, that's when the magic happens.
Yeah.
When I sit down, I'll just force myself to sit in the chair, and then I look at my gear, or I look out the window, and I'll just sit, and eventually I'll start firing everything up. I hit the first key, kind of start going through the motions, and then before you know it, you're just like electrified. And it's always when you push through, is when you get to that sweet spot.
That's cool, man. It's cool that you get results with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you really are jazzed and you go in there, like, sure, and you're trying to try something, like, whenever I'm trying to try something, it usually doesn't work. Usually. But it's different. The creative process is different for everyone and how you kind of go about it. The biggest thing is having the discipline to do it. If you care about it and you want to do something, you got to just show up even when you don't want to. It's like the same thing with everyone going to the gym. It's like that's the day you got to go the most, is when you don't want to go.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's something I started doing very recently, and like, as a husky dude, you get kind of nervous. You feel like everyone's gonna be judgy, but everyone has been so fucking cool and supportive. I don't know how, this is a total sidebar tangent, I guess, but yeah, I just found that very surprising about the gym. You'd think that it would be all these dudes that are just like, look at that fucking guy, but no.
Everyone's thinking about themselves and how their people are what they're thinking of them.
Yeah.
It's and I would like to think that no one is being a piece of shit like that, but I mean, we got a wide range of people on the planet. But yeah, go into the gym. Man, it's so super self-conscious, especially when you're younger and you're just like unsure of yourself. It's or even like, I guess we could revert it back to music. Like when you jam with people for the first time, I find talking for like at least an hour, 2, 3, just figuring out that chemistry we're talking about, and then picking up an instrument after you have got on the same wavelength.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, just something to break the ice.
Yeah, so that you're not uptight and kind of nervous, because like I was really nervous as a kid when I was younger, and even in my early 20s, getting together. I'm sure I still would be, going into a studio space and they'd like, play this, you feel the pressure, but it's excitement. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good to feel that. It's good to feel the butterflies. Makes you a more whole person, feeling all that range of emotions,
Totally. I don't think those butterflies ever go away. I think all it is, sort of the measure of a musician, is, how do you rebound from that feeling? How do you rise to that challenge, right? Not that challenge dissipates. I don't think it ever does. But how are you going to deal with it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's rising to the occasion, even when you have that the internal dialogue and the internal body feels.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember what it felt like the butterflies when I was going out to do like a talent show in elementary school, and I had my guitar, and I remember I used to gel my hair, and the gel, I was sweating, my hands were getting clammy, so the gel was starting to kind of come out of my pores and on my guitar pick, and I'm so nervous, and I felt the butterflies, and it makes you feel alive. I definitely welcome that feeling.
Yeah. Oh, definitely, man. Yeah, I think we're suckers for punishment. But, that shit happens. And just to bring it back to the breaking the ice thing, I mean, sometimes that can be at a gig. And sometimes, you don't really have time to have that conversation before you take the stage. So for me, sometimes that icebreaker is the first time I make a mistake. But because, because I've been playing music for a few years, that mistake usually and hopefully is only noticed by me and maybe the band, right?
Yeah, you notice these things more than the little nuanced fuck ups that we have. We notice them and feel them more profoundly than other people do, and you just want to, I guess, be around people that don't give you too much shit for it.
I mean, I always give myself shit for it, but I think I found a way to spin that in my favor, where it's I hit a rim instead of a snare, and instead of getting mad at myself, I'm just okay, that was the fuck up. The ice is broken. Now let's party. Let's do this.
Hell yeah! You just got to get over that initial fuck up, get it out of the way. Get it out of the way as early as possible. Yeah, and then now we can have fun.
Yeah, it didn't stop the show by any means.
No,
probably nobody even noticed it, but it wasn't what I meant to do, and we're moving on.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. There's definitely something important to showing up when you don't want to show up. To bring it back to the the original point there was just I think working out is a great analogy. Yeah. But it's also, God, even the podcast, there was definitely
you had a lull there.
I had a pretty big lull.
Yeah.
But I mean, you get together like this, or I mean, a lot of it was, during the pandemic where I couldn't get together like this, which probably led to the lull. But you always end up having a good time afterwards anyway, right? You throw your ass in the studio and you're okay, here we go.
Going through the motions.
Yeah. And then by the end of it, you're reinvigorated.
And
right?
you never regret it.
Exactly.
You never regret it like you never regret going for a walk.
Yeah.
You never regret getting your ass outside. You never regret going to the gym. You never regret making music, practicing your craft. You never regret it. And it's just funny that we have these little these blocks that we have to remove the blockage in order to, even when you're in the creative flow too, removing the blockage to allow yourself that creative freedom to express yourself, man. So I was just thinking of this today, actually. I've just started playing guitar and singing. So I've been playing guitar, it's my native instrument, but I just started singing. And the amount of fun and pleasure that I get from playing the guitar and singing is times a lot.
Sweet.
Yeah, because I was, going back to the nervousness, it's even in the comfort of my own home, I just didn't like the sound of my own voice, and it was a self-conscious thing. But now that I'm letting that fly, man, it's so liberating, man. It gives me goosebumps talking about it. Yesterday, last week, my last night in Vancouver, we were up late, and one of the guys picked up a guitar, and he was singing. I'm like, man, you sing and play better than I do, because he was nervous about it. And then I was like, here, I'm going to sing and play now. And I hadn't done it in front of anyone before. And I sung and played, and I couldn't believe what came out of me, man. It sounded like a song by Bright Eyes, like Connor Oberst. His style of singing, dude, I couldn't believe it. It was like this childhood me came out when I was listening to some of his music, this melancholic, like this little kid in me just came out and started singing, dude. It was fucking beautiful, man. So I'm excited to play more guitar and sing.
Dude, that's awesome, man. And just like walking towards that fire, right? Putting yourself in that uncomfortable situation.
But
and
back to the butterflies.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Exactly.
Hell
dude.
yeah.
I love it. Yeah, man. Actually, I did want to back up because before the break, you just talked about getting an ankle tattoo.
Yes.
How the fuck did that feel, dude?
So it was actually a stick and poke.
Oh no.
Yeah, so even wilder. So I was shout out to Megan, shout out to Curtis. We were all Megan's my homie from a long time, and she kind of introduced me to East Van and van life, and she just whipped open her stick and poke kit, and then she's like, "Okay, what does everyone want?" And I was like, the first thing that came to my mind, which is funny because I've had one tattoo forever and it's super meaningful, and I was up for like 3 nights drawing it in college, and my brother and I got it, and it's like the reason why I haven't got another tattoo is because this one's so meaningful. And now this is the polar opposite. Just right spur of the moment, she's like, "What do you want?" I'm gonna put it on you, and I was like, "Easy Love." It's one of the tracks off of Mastercraft's first album, Deluxe, and also it's just, you know, easy love, like the vibe of those words and how it makes you feel. But yeah, it was pain. It sucked, man. It sucked, dude. We were watching Fail Army on YouTube, so it's constant, you know, cycles of like people bailing and funny shit to distract ourselves from the pain. And yeah, I'm happy Kurt put that on, because if he didn't, it would have just been like agonizing. But well worth it. Well worth it.
Cool, man. How long did it take?
It took like an hour.
Oh,
maybe
okay.
maybe two. But yeah, she did it. My brother was like, "Nice line work," and I was like, "Yeah, it's a stick and poke." He's like, "No shit."
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah,
Definitely never had stick and poke before, but
yeah, it's just so slow. It's just like stab, 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 stab.
ugh. I mean, I don't know. I want to say no thanks, but at the same time, like, I get addicted to it, man. It's
I'm the floodgates are open. Next to what I said about going out to the West Coast and never coming home, I've also been saying once I get another tattoo, I'm no longer the guy with one tattoo anymore. I'm getting all the tattoos.
Yeah.
So and funny enough, my roommate, shout out to Wes, he's a apprentice tattoo guy.
Oh, perfect.
And so he's got the little kit to print out on the printer and do the fonts and the size, and I'm just going to get writing all over my body. Just super obvious, you know, no more abstract shit where people have to ask. I'm just going to be an open book, so people can, you know, say, "Oh shit, does that say that?" I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." You know, little walking icebreaker.
Yeah, there you go, man. Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. I love it. It's been, I don't know, God, I'm guessing like 6 months or something. I have no time reference. I'm horrible with that shit. But it's been a while since I've been in the chair, man. And
yeah,
you do get addicted to it. Sometimes at the time you're like, "Fuck this," but
yeah.
But now I just want to go back.
Man, time is. My grandma said this to me, and it's been becoming truer and truer and truer as time goes by. That as you get older, time speeds up. And
Definitely.
My God, you know, I don't know if it's like less milestones that happen in a year and less, you know, big things that happened, you know, they happen less frequently. So time just seems like no time has passed, but so much time has passed. You know, when you're younger, it's like there's all these firsts and there's all these things happening. So it's just like, it feels like, you know, it does feel like time's speeding up. It's wild. And it actually is a huge motivator for me to have release the music, you know, put it out there, pick the day, move out to Vancouver. My dad passed away from cancer 2 months ago, and I'm actually gonna thank you. I'm actually gonna I'm dedicating this album to him. So Dad, I know you're listening. I love you. I miss you, and thank you for watching over me. Yeah, motivation to not wait. Do it fucking now. Do it today. Time is speeding up as we get older. We're all noticing it. Don't fucking wait. Get it done. Go do it. Buy the ticket. Take the ride.
Yeah, you have to. You absolutely have to. Like, I mean, first of all, I do remember being a little kid and feeling like summer break was forever. I mean, like, it was awesome, but it also felt like it just never fucking ended. Like,
Yeah, you're so bored. You're just like, I'm so bored. Like you're like almost nicking to get back to school. And yeah, time was just like expansive back then. And now it's just so tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I live by my scheduler. And, you know, at the end of every calendar month, I'm looking at my next month, just like, okay, there's a gig here. I got rehearsals here. I got a podcast here. And it feels like, okay, well, it's a whole month. You know, it's fine. Next thing I know, I'm looking at it again for the following month. Like, it's fucking nuts. And I've done so much shit, especially since things opened up, man. I feel like I've been crazy busy, and I love it. Like, fuck, it feels good to be busy.
You got to stay busy. Yeah. Also, you got to take breaks. You don't want to work your life away. That's something that my uncle always told me and has told me is not to work your life away. Because it is easy to get into like that gathering mode where it's just like more. And, you know, you're like saving, nesting, and investing and, you know, doing all the right moves. But it is equally as important to have that balance of having some calmness and some stillness and not being in doer mode and being in being mode kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's funny, man. I feel like, and I've said this for years, I have two modes. I have like grind mode and sloth mode.
Hell yeah, man.
And I thought that would change when I stopped drinking. I thought, you know, okay, so sloth mode has to be partially hangover. And I mean, it's not really the case. I still have that mode where I just go until I fucking overheat, and then it's couch, TV, fucking Seinfeld marathon or something.
Dude.
But I'm okay with that, man. Like, I used to beat myself up about it. And you know what? As long as I'm productive, then I think time like that, it's great to turn your brain off.
Hell yeah, you deserve it. I got one speed too. It's just go time. When I'm on, I'm on. You know, like I come from a background of construction, and guys are like, oh, if you get that done, they're going to send you to the other building to do all the insulation. And I'm like, I hate insulation. And they had me do it. He's like, they're going to send you to the other building if you don't slow down. And I'm like, I can't slow down. Slow down? What's slow down? No, yeah. I got one speed. I'm going to get it done at my pace, which is go time pace. And then, then kick your boots off when you get home and chill out. But yeah, there should be no shame in that. There is a lot of feeling of like this need to constantly be doing stuff. You know, we got our devices and everyone's, you know, there's kind of like an anxiety about having to get things done and always to be doing something and to not waste time, which is true, but there's the balance of it all for sure.
Exactly. Well, and you touched on it towards the beginning of the conversation, just the mentality of, you know, we were talking about Ontarians kind of being defined by what they do 9 to 5. And I think that's absolutely correct. And I know for me, like, yeah, I kind of hate that shit. I resent that sentiment. So the last thing I would define myself is as what I do from 9 to 5. I do that as a fundraiser to do this kind of stuff. And this is kind of who I am. So, you know, I think when I'm talking about being productive, you know, I'll do my day job the best that I can. And I think I'm fairly good at it. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, you know, taking on a musical project or, you know, putting yourself in that uncomfortable position, you know, picking up a bass when I'm not very good at it or whatever the case may be, right? But yeah.
People feel that pressure. They feel pressure to say that they love their jobs.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if you had all the money in the world, would you go to work tomorrow? No?
I wouldn't. No fucking way. I mean, I would work, but I would do something
People
that I wanted to do.
feel pressure, you know, they'd be like, oh no, I love my job. I love my work. I love my job. I love my work. It's like, okay. That's cool. But I understand why people have that. It's like, no one wants to admit that they're spending 10, 12 hours a day doing something that they don't want to do. But that's an internal dialogue that you got to have with yourself to eventually, you know, to figure out why you're doing what you're doing, whatever habits you have or behaviors you have or people you surround yourself with. You got to figure out the patterns and stop the bad ones.
Yeah, oh, exactly, man. It's just one of those things where, and if anyone out there in listener land that does what they love to do 9 to 5 or, whatever the case may be, kudos. That's fucking amazing. That's living the dream.
Absolutely.
But it's asking yourself, is it that? Or are you in the other camp where it's basically Stockholm Syndrome and you're just like, I really fucking can't stand what I do, but I got to make the most of it. So yay, I'm going to work.
There's glory. It's a strange thing. It's a strange thing that we have to all go to work and do that. It'd be nice if we didn't have to go and do stuff we didn't want to do. It'd be nice if we could just do all the things we want to do.
See, I'm cool with it because I have this. If I, let's say I wasn't allowed to have this, or, for whatever reason, I just couldn't have this, I would resent the day job tenfold.
Finding the thing that makes your life worth living, finding your purpose, finding whatever, your ikigai, whatever you want to call it. And it makes everything worthwhile.
Absolutely, man. And actually, that's a great way to send off to another commercial break. That and the fact that I have to piss like a racehorse. We'll be right back right after this. Hey, business owners. Wouldn't it be cool if I was taking this time to talk about your product or service? I've enjoyed building relationships with some very cool companies since I started this thing, and I am looking to expand the Walk Show family. I work with some great sponsors, and I've sponsored events through the podcast, so I do understand how valuable time and resources can be. If you have any interest or questions about working with the show, hit me up at thewalkshow@gmail.com. Again, that's thewalkshow, WOK, @gmail.com. I hope you're enjoying the podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Now let's get back to the show. Back. Ooh. Round 3, man.
Here we go.
I do want to get into the music. How would you describe your sound to anyone out there in listening land that hasn't heard you before?
So it's electronic music. It's techno. The 2 tracks are undoubtedly techno, and the other one is more emotional. The last track on the record is invokes a bit more of a feeling, and the other 2 are more just kind of, they make you want to move. So I'm still kind of finding my sound, because it's been developing over the years, and it's kind of just been squeaking out sounds that at the beginning, and you're trying to just have something that sounds like a cohesive piece of music. But definitely, I'm using a 909 drum machine, so you can expect a certain sound and feeling of the kind of like the house and techno sound there. But it's 2. So I can actually be a little bit more specific. So I'm using a Korg Mini Log and a Korg Monolog XD and TR-09, the boutique version of the 909. So if you've heard those, that's what I use on the whole record. I just try to stick to analog. It doesn't really work for me creating music, producing in a digital audio workplace. But I do run my voice through a digital, it's called vocal synth. So it's like, that Daft Punky or whatever Imogen Heap kind of vibe where you're playing chords of your own voice. Those are actually my favorite songs that I'm most connected to, is when I'm actually kind of singing and kind of breaking out into that really kind of revealing yourself and putting yourself out there. That's usually when I'm having the most fun in the jam session too, when it's just like out of nowhere you're just repeating this phrase that just freaking came into your head, and you're like you're singing, and you're just surprised that it's coming out of you because it feels so good, and you're like, this is fucking sick. So yeah, it's electronic music. It's mostly heavy, but we'll see what the next releases are going to be when I eventually get the full length released. I got a couple tracks on that, but it's all dancey. It's all fun for the most part. So yeah, I think that I'll leave it there.
Cool, man. So you're writing music and you're not typically using a digital audio workstation
to record onto. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you're writing, so is it kind of like looping? Like you come up with a part and loop it and then add to it?
Sequencing.
Okay.
I don't loop. I do want to get a loop pedal, and there's so many things I would like to do. Try little gadgets and whatnot, but I have had my eye on getting a loop pedal and starting to incorporate that into my setup. But I just sequence and MIDI everything, and I like doing kind of like retractive producing. So I'll hit a whole bunch of chords on the keyboard, random, and have it start sequencing, and I'll have it run from one synth into the other, and then have the drum machine MIDI'd up in there, and just on the drum machine, I'll just make a smash together smorgasbord, and then I'll start retracting. Then I'll start taking things out that I don't like, and start exposing the parts that I do like, and I like kind of playing around that way as well.
Very cool. So you're kind of throwing it all at the wall, seeing what sticks, and then just going with that kind of stuff.
That's right.
Awesome, man. What's your dream rig look like? Are you pretty much working with it now, or is it?
My heavens, I am super stoked with what I've got now. Dream rig. Oh, what a question. Yeah, just some vintage synthesizers, man. Some Moogs. A Moog Voyager, I guess. I don't know too I would just have a shitload of Moogs, just because it would just feel good to be staring at your typical high end freaking interfaces. Like I haven't even bothered looking into all the high end stuff, but what more than the dream rig would be the dream space. I am more stoked for the space that I'm going to be making music in. That I can't wait to, start building my own little studio, my own little creative recording space. That's going to really, that's what I'm actually looking forward to more than the gear itself.
Sweet, dude. And is that something that's in the works as we speak, or is that a long-term goal?
Yeah, it's a long-term goal. I want to be able to, I'm pretty nomadic with, I move at least once a year constantly, even if it's just within the same city. So I've got to kind of settle down, get a dog, build a studio.
Well, I mean, Otis loves you, man. So that's a consolation.
I love Otis.
He's always friendly, but not right off the hop like he was with you. That was definitely strange.
Good vibes. I like it. I'm the dog whisperer. Man, dogs are the best. I can't wait to get one.
Hell yeah, dude. So I ask an episode question to the listeners. For each episode, I like to get my guest's take on it as well. So today's question is, what are your top 3 Canadian bands or artists? And obviously that would be off the top of your head. I am kind of throwing you under the bus with this one, so I apologize.
You asking me?
Yes.
Okay, man. So actually just recently, I've really, really, really been getting into the Tragically Hip. My dad always used to listen to them. And every time I hear them now, I think of him and kind of get connected and grounded, and just so the first time that I really felt the hip, I was in Bob Cajun on the water, and someone put on Bob Cajun, and dude. So yeah, Tragically Hip. First, obviously, Mastercraft. I'm self-proclaimed #1 fan of Mastercraft.
And you got the stick and poke to prove it.
Yeah. So that one's an obvious one. So I'm not even going to count that one. I'm going to dig a little deeper here. Oh, Deadmau5. Fucking Deadmau5, man. Like undisputed champion of global, man. You can pick one of his tunes out a mile away. He's got a very distinct sound that just does it for me. I remember discovering him on during the MySpace days, and so yeah, hell yeah, Joel Zimmerman.
Is he Canadian?
Yeah, he's from like Niagara on the Lake or something.
Holy
and he's
shit.
a Toronto guy. Yeah, he's got a place in like Campbellville. He's got
Wow.
a super sick studio, man. It's fucking insane. He's got like he has a deal with Dolby Digital. Like you have to have a license to have like as proper. Anyways, it's insane. He's got like, yeah. So Deadmau5. I'm surprised I said Tragically Hip. I guess when you said Canadian music, I guess I kind of went back and thought like, okay, what are some iconic, you know?
Yep.
So, and then I don't know, after that, I want to say Neil Young. And I hope I'm not going to regret this after and be like, shit, I can't believe I didn't say this person. But
Of course you are, dude. I think it's that kind of question, unfortunately.
so I'm going to stick. Yeah. So yeah, Neil Young also reminds me of my dad like immensely. And that I've loved Neil Young for a long time, and he used to play them all the time. And so I would say Neil, good old Neil Young.
Awesome. Yeah, the Hip is definitely on my list as well.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, dude, like they have to be the most Canadian band there is.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And even into their later, well, quote unquote, later albums. I mean, like, yeah, Bob Cajun was not an early hip jam at all. Yeah, I've been playing a shitload of it with like cover bands and stuff over the last month or so. And
Nice.
yeah, it's just it's so fucking good.
You know what, man? I actually haven't listened to one of their albums from start to finish.
No?
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, I'm gonna get on that. I've been actually that's in the calendar. I'm excited to. I think on the way here from Vancouver, I listened to music the whole way. I was listening to some random punk album, and then I was just listening to music the whole way. I didn't even watch movies. So on the way back, I'm gonna start from the first Hip album, and I couldn't even name one to you. I'm just throwing myself under the bus here, but I do. Well, obviously, you don't need to recite. It's about what you feel, and if you like them, you don't need to fucking know everything about them. If people are gonna be pretentious or be like, "Oh, it's like no. If you like it, you like it."
I
Cool.
can't stand those fucking people. Name 5 albums, dude. It's like, can I just like it? Is that cool?
Yeah,
Can I
yeah.
just like it, please? Fuck yeah. Well, I'm glad we're on the same page there.
Sweet.
What's next for you, man? Any gigs? Anything coming up?
Man, gigs. I was supposed to play one in Vancouver. So this is the thing. I don't really like staying up too late, especially when I'm sober. You know, I'm in bed at 9, and I want to do day parties. And I think I'm, back to the lone wolf thing. I think I've always believed that I'm just going to have to do it myself. I'm going to have to, if I want to play at 1 p.m. on a Sunday every week, then I'm going to have to do that myself and do it for like 4 or 5 hours, do it at the same spot every Sunday. So people don't even have to ask. I'm going to be there listening to music, blaring tunes in the same spot, rain or shine. And then everyone can just expect it. They don't need to ask, and they can just show up. So even if you're hungover, you'll still be able to make it for that 1 p.m. time and have a great day outside and listen to good music, because there is a heavy drug use scene, obviously, with electronic music. And, when I'm trying to kind of stay away from that, it's kind of hard when you're playing shows at clubs at night.
Yep.
So I'm kind of going to be, it's going to be for people who love the music, and, come as you are, but you're welcome to come sober and hang out and just really enjoy the music.
That's cool, man. So something you would put on yourself, or like a residency at a local pub, or
Yeah,
or
I would
both?
just outside, man. I want to be outside. I want to be outside. I know that there's no acoustics, but you can find some ways to work around that outside by being in a little knoll, where you can kind of keep the sound in there. But even if you're just out on the beach with a huge fucking speaker and blaring music and doing that like every Sunday, and throw in a couple MacAlister Park tracks, but it's just about getting together and enjoying being outside, because it's traditionally, you're listening to everything in a dark club, but it's nice to break the mold, Let's get outside.
Yeah, we can enjoy this music and sunlight.
The sun is shining. Why are we inside in the dark?
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. I love it. And I mean, the perfect time of year for it, too.
Hell yeah. Fuck
yeah. How can people check out what you're doing online?
Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music. It's on Instagram, so if you want to make a reel with it or do it with one of your posts, it's on Snapchat, it's on TikTok. If you want to do a cool TikTok freaking thing, please send it to me. I would love to see it. I haven't got any like fan stuff yet, or anyone like even seeing a video of someone listening to my music or someone playing it. Like, it doesn't even have to be in a huge club. Like, someone just like at a house party and someone's playing my track, I would absolutely fucking be head over heels stoked to see that. So, yeah, if anyone does that, I'd be super pumped.
Fuck yeah, dude. Well, you heard it here, kids. The last thing I do on the walk show is spin 2 tunes. So the first one is MacAlister Park with Hideout Place, followed by today's double feature preacher artist Barrett Cressman with Halfway. Devon, thanks so much for your time, brother.
My man, Derek, this has been an absolute blast, brother. Thank you for having me.
Dude, anytime. To the listeners, thank you so much for your time. We'll catch you next time, and kaboom!
Because after dinner, everyone ought to have a cigar. So I tried it. Oh, the rest is history. I'm still smoking stogies. I love it. He introduced me to something really good. And I know now the next question. Knowing you, being the interviewer that you are, digging in deep all the time, you would say now, what does your wife think about that? Let me ask you something. When my wife's father has introduced me to stogies, what is she gonna say? She's not gonna say my father made a mistake, because her father never makes a mistake. So therefore, it is okay. Because I'm a stud. I'm ballsy. I don't take no shit from anyone. I smoke my stogie anywhere I want. I don't have to find a hideout place like you. I don't take no shit from anyone.
outside in order to hide. No one's against me, at least not that I know. So I grab my pitchfork and I head off to ditch work. I'm off on the road now, I'm out of this maze, 'cause I've got 15 new horses and a plan all figured out. I might have to cross the ocean, but I'm not stopping because I doubt my rusty ship will hold. She's made of river love. I'll crash on sailing waves and sail the sky just like a dove. And you'll meet me halfway. And you'll meet me halfway. Political answers. In our flowers there's cancer. It don't do much to tell ya. What are we for? We fought the good fight. We fought for the good life. We're so emancipated. Now give us a badge, 'cause I've got 15 new horses and a plan all figured out. I might have to cross the ocean, but I'm not stopping because I doubt my rusty ship will hold. She's made of river love. I'll crash on sailing waves and sail the sky just like a dove. And you'll meet me halfway. And you'll meet me halfway. Keeps us separate. I don't know. I don't know. A picture, a beautiful mixture. Your face is so lovely. You made my whole day. 15 new horses and a plan all figured out. I might have to cross the ocean, but I'm not stopping because I doubt my rusty ship will hold. She's made of river love. I'll crash on sailing waves and sail the sky just like a dove.